we are a single stop that can allow technology to be easily embedded into those vertical specific developer software solutions. So we do that in a process that makes it's so smooth and so advanced that they can take aspects of our APIs and embed it directly into their code. So if they want to do advanced reporting, all we really need to do is show them our reporting set, and anything that they see, Kelsey, they can take it and embed into their service because we're API first.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here today with John Badovinac. He's the Vice President of the B2B Channel at Fortis. John, welcome to the show.
Hey, Kelsey, thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you. So, John, why don't you start and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Okay. Well, with about 25 years of payments experience, I guess I would have to call myself a payments professional at this point. But the background is a really diverse one, starting with roles at credit card brands. I started with Discover in operations management, sales, and all of that. But I've had a full suite of roles throughout pretty much the entire payments ecosystem, from I would say acquiring relationships, card brand certification. I ran the EMV certification shop at TSYS for a while, but increasingly I've come closer and closer to the developers, closer and closer to the merchants, and closer to the code that powers transactions at the merchant level. So most recently, I'm at Fortis, where I run the B2B channel.
Interesting. It sounds like you had an interesting, path getting to Fortis. Tell me a little bit more about Fortis.
Well, Fortis is great. It was it's about a 20-year-old company that was founded by a couple of really smart entrepreneurs who initially wanted to serve the hospitality industry. And they developed a specific payment gateway to meet the very specific vertical needs of the hotel industry. And they continued to evolve the functionality so that it was able to be expanded really well into other verticals. And I think that's one of the key things. So about a 20-year-old company, about 250 employees that continues to grow both organically and inorganically. And the majority of our folks are based in Michigan, California, and Florida.
Interesting. And do you tend to see trends in different industries that Fortis works with?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that what's really been increasingly obvious is over the last decade or so, folks have started to recognize that payments and embedding payments within the vertical specific software that they develop has become more and more of an asset. So it used to be just a functionality that they had to deal with. But as we've learned more about the verticals that we serve, we can more effectively partner with those entrepreneurs who are driving new developments and creating new customer experiences that really make life a little bit easier for both the consumers and those services. So as those services evolve and become more specific, we're there to kind of backfill and to tweak our technology with our in-house development shop to make sure that we're really aligned well with the verticals that we serve. And those verticals have changed over time.
So it sounds like one of those strengths that Fortis has is really, being a partner in integration. Am I hearing that right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I could spend forever on this subject because it's one of the true strengths of what we do. In order to really be able to deliver value, you not only have to have award-winning technology, which we do, but you've got to have process and people with a culture to drive success for your partners. And we really do. I think that one of the great strengths that we all bring to the table is our ability to listen and really be attuned to the needs of our partners that we serve and how they specifically want to drive new experiences in the verticals that they serve. So as they evolve, so do we. And that's one of the nice things about having an experienced dev shop that really understands the verticals that we serve. We can provide basically consultancy in that because we do such a good job within those areas. And the last thing I would say really about our process is super transparent and it's super guided. we say that Fortis is a very, white glove treatment. And I'll give you a very specific example in the dev roadmap. When we talk to people about embedding our commerce suite to make their transactions more invisible, the first thing we do is ask them to tell us about their service. So we interview them for their payments related use cases. And then what we do is, instead of just turning them loose, like throwing them to the wolves about to get into our technology stack with thousands and thousands of API calls, we actually create a curated list, an integration checklist for them that we call an integration guide, that only requires them to complete the requisite API calls to deliver the experience that they want. So they may only have 26, 28 calls instead of a couple thousand that we have out there. So we really make sure that we give them everything they need with a personal guide to help them through every step of that integration process. So it's a real hands-on experience that's augments what we do really, really well from a technology stack.
Do you think it's, that checklist being just one of the things, but do you think it's really, that process and that relationship building that works to separate Fortis from its competition?
Absolutely, Kelsey. It's so funny. I love what I do, right? I get a chance to talk to smart people about the problems that they're trying to solve every day. And I'm just a super enthusiastic nerd for what we do. But what I really enjoy is when I turn over the relationship, and we've kind of gone through that initial assessment, I can kind of give them a pretty good idea about the solutions, how it would serve their needs best. But when I turn them over to our solutions engineering and to our dev team, I say that's when the relationship with Fortis really takes off, because they meet the really smart people who really are focused on their needs. And, they do build a recurring relationship with the partners that we serve, so that they can deliver more value to the end users that take part in their services. So it's the team only gets better as they get to know us more. And the coolest thing about that relationship with our development team is that's the same point of contact that software partner is going to enjoy working with for years to come. So as they add new features and functionality, we have a very long tenure for our solutions engineering and our dev team, because Fortis is a great place to work. So typically they'll be working with the same partner contact that helped them through their initial integration as they deliver additional functionality through the years with us.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And you just mentioned the features and kind of building on for functionality. Let's circle back and talk to me a little bit more about the different solutions that Fortis offers.
Sure. Well, most importantly, what we are is a payments gateway. So we are a single stop that can allow technology to be easily embedded into those vertical specific developer software solutions. So we do that in a process that makes it's so smooth and so advanced that they can take aspects of our API set and embed it directly into their code. So if they want to do advanced reporting, all we really need to do is show them our reporting set, and anything that they see, Kelsey, they can take it and embed into their service, because we're API first. So everything that we view within our interfaces, we're actually using in an API environment that they could just embed with their own solution seamlessly. So I would say the interesting thing is it's a fantastic technology stack for both those vertical specific entrepreneurs and developers, but also specifically in the B2B marketplace. Now, that's my current area of focus. We have a strong presence there, and there are certain functionalities that are required there to make sure that we can take those transaction histories and easily import them into the general ledger of their accounting software systems. And that really adds value. Anytime we do the interface between their user experience and our payments, and then from our payments into their business accounting software, each of those steps eliminates redundancy and work and makes more efficient business processes for those customers we serve.
John, I'm curious to pick your brain a little bit, in regards to cloud versus on-premise solutions. Talk to me a little bit about, both of those.
Sure. And what I'll do is I'll share observations. So I have my own personal opinions, but the observations that I make are that more and more successful companies are moving to cloud-based solutions. But having said that, what works. So we have a ton of customers that we onboard every week that are using on-prem solutions, and we've developed a very specific expertise set to making that installation very transparent and very smooth on behalf of the partners that we serve and the merchant end users that participate in those solutions. But I would say on a more global footprint, more and more people are moving to the cloud. And I think that's because it's easier to add feature functionality going forward with a cloud-based solution that doesn't require you to do probably semi-annual installs for maintenance patches and updates and product enhancements. So it's a little bit more future forward, a little bit easier to build new functionality and less cumbersome to deploy those advancements in technology. But like I said, we have folks that have been using the same software set for years because it works within the sphere of their business. And we want them to be comfortable and confident with the solution. So we currently support both. And I think we do a really, really good job. I definitely think, however, the trend is towards more cloud-based.
Interesting. I'm curious to pick your brain a little bit as well. What would you say the biggest challenge your customers have before they start working with Fortis? Do you think it's, not having a great kind of user experience and choppy in that, or what would you say what would you say it would be?
Well, I would say the first is, does the feature functionality set that they're currently experiencing meet their technical needs? So that's the first thing. And so what we've done, because we've had so much experience in the verticals that we serve, and I'll give you an example, non-for-profits, business to business, healthcare, hospitality. We've got a broad cross-section of experience with folks and businesses that we've acquired that really give us a strong vertical focus. So understanding what their technical needs are and building them out. So that's one of the benefits of having, in-house development team that's really focused on understanding deeply the verticals that we serve. The second thing is really having access to both the development partner, right? How are we going to help them through a proven process to guide them along that way in an accessible way, where there are great technology stacks out there, but you can't get anybody on the phone. And if you contrast that with the Fortis methodology, we typically have standing weekly calls with the developers as they come through integration. And then they're passed on to partner success folks, but we always retain, that longevity of the relationships that were the strong basis of our partnership from the inception. So I think part of it's people, part of it's processes in addition to technology. But I would say the biggest overwhelming driving factor that makes Fortis different is our culture, just our get stuff done mentality. Roll up your sleeves, be the best partner when things are hardest. There are some things you won't be able to anticipate, but we really, really care about doing a really kick-ass job for our customers, and we're going to make it happen. So I think that culture permeates who we are. And it's really energizing to work here because when you see others having the same drive as you do to help make our partners and the end users they serve, their businesses more successful, it's genuine. And it really is energizing when you bump into people that work here as well.
Oh, I love it. And I can certainly hear the passion behind your voice as well for Fortis, you're being able to help your clients. So I think that's fantastic. John, pivoting a little bit, I'm curious, do you tend to hear any common misconceptions, not necessarily about Fortis, but more so about the industry or anything in general?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that everything's the same, that the experience that you get one place is going to be the same, and technology is technology, and either you have it or you don't. But I think it's really important to understand the partnership mentality, the hustle, the access to senior leadership. That's important in building a, hopefully decades-long relationship with a technology partner. So I think one of the things that we do is we demonstrate an ongoing commitment to technology. And I'll give you a couple of points of reference, right? The Strawhecker Group is an independent third party that annually gives awards for the best payment processing companies. And we've won recognition the last 5 years in a row consecutively. So anybody would be really proud to win a single one of these awards, but to win them 5 consecutive years really demonstrates a commitment to technology leadership that our partners and end users will benefit from. But technology is not it. You have to have access to people who really care about your business, who are courageous enough to stop and say, maybe we don't know. Maybe we have to just pause for a second, really listen to the customer, and maybe find a more elegant way. And if we don't have the solution, I think that I'm constantly surprised by the number of people that determine that they have a new feature functionality that we may not have in our portfolio. But because we've done such a good job, they're going to help us build it exactly the way they want. So we all, both of us, the end user, the partners that we serve, and Fortis emerge stronger from that dialogue because we build increased feature functionality with great on-the-ground insights from our partners. So even if we don't have anything, I'm constantly surprised by how much people, personality, and the culture of the organization matter, even in a technology forum.
Yeah, I think, John, I think that's fantastic and very insightful. I appreciate you sharing that. Certainly, again, you mentioned at the beginning, Fortis being a partner, in change and growth, and you brought it right back, full circle. So, if people wanted to learn more about Fortis, where would they go to learn more?
Sure, it's easy. FortisPay.com. And we're all over LinkedIn as well. So Fortis, FORTIS, and FortisPay.com.
That's great. Well, John, as we start to wrap up this conversation, is there anything that you want to leave our listeners with, either advice, anything about Fortis, anything in general?
Oh, thanks for the opportunity. I would just say that I'd encourage folks to give us a try. What we're doing in the B2B marketplace specifically is something that we are putting an increased area of emphasis on. I'm super energized by our mission. We've got great partners that we participate with, some of the largest global accounting software firms, including Sage, where we are a technology partner plus with Sage, so an endorsed payment solution, as well as we've got a really deep embedded relationship with Acumatica. So two of the best established and fastest growing accounting software firms have a great partnership with us. And anybody that uses their software, we can really help drive a solution set and innovate on their behalf together, with that increased elegance of posting back into their general ledger to make their lives a little bit simpler as well. And we have more and more announcements coming. So those are two giant accounting software packages, and we've got more in the very near horizon that we'll be happy to come back and share with you very soon.
Very exciting. Well, we're looking forward to it. Well, John, this has been a terrific conversation. I really appreciate you sharing all of your insights, all of the great things that Fortis is doing, has done, and will continue to do. I think this was a great conversation. I really appreciate you being in Business Ninjas today.
Well, thank you very much. I really enjoy your show, and I'm happy to be a subscriber. It's great stuff. Keep up the great work, Kelsey.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.